Hello, welcome to another Alpha Strike We Play video. I'm joined by Tarron today, and we are talking about tracked vehicles.
Tracked vehicles.
Yes.
We're on to the heavy duty boys.
So this is the stuff that's got the chest hair, mate. Isn't it? You know?
These guys eat the bread with the crusts on.
That's right.
They eat the whole loaf with the crust on, actually. But yeah.
So swoosh us in and let's get started.
Tracked vehicles. Swoosh. Go.
So 100 tons.
Maximum.
Yep.
And most people go for 100 tons.
And why not?
And why not?
And why not?
Dear.
So they carry everything. You got bigger guns and more ammo and all that sort of all
More
the good
guns
stuff.
is more better. Yep. And I'm going to point out that, I mean, all of the standard ground combat vehicle rules apply.
Yep.
And these guys are lucky because they do not get a modifier on the motive system damage taken.
Yeah, because they're super tough.
Super tough.
Not as tough as a mech, but super tough nonetheless.
Super tough.
Yeah.
But, I mean, up until now, you've had the +3s for hovercraft and the +2 for wheeled. These guys get just the straight roll.
Yep.
So you have to roll a 12 to take it out. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's good.
And quite a large number of them come with a turret, so even that doesn't really help most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Yeah. The only terrain types they can't go into is heavy woods.
Heavy woods and heavy jungle and all that sort of stuff.
Everything above that, as far as like that sort of thing goes, and depth 1 or deeper water.
Yeah. Just avoid water altogether.
Just avoid water altogether is best for vehicles. But yeah, that's basically it. Otherwise, they're just standard ground combat vehicle rules, and they're really, really cool. You can get some really cool ones. I've got a few, you've got a few,
yep,
but it is not even touching on the vast array of vehicles that are out there for this stuff. And you can make your own easily. You follow the rules in the tech manual, and you can make your own vehicles, and it'll fit anywhere you want to fit it, because it's just, there's so many different types of tanks out there. It's just insane.
But it is nice. It is nice to have a vehicle that can actually go into like woods and get the benefit of some added cover and everything. Really, really nice.
Yeah, and it's really nice to have some tanks, like a tank that can take on something like a light mech and do well against it. Like you can take on a medium tonnage mech with some of these guys and have a reasonable chance of actually surviving the encounter.
Yeah, that's right.
With a hovercraft or something, you could probably do a heap of damage, and if you're lucky, you could probably bring one down, but in a stand-up fight, you are going to get murdered 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. But having that flexibility to go up to 100 tons, you can create a tank to do a variety of roles, and it has that benefit. It's really nice. Yeah. Really, really nice. So yeah, so we're going to talk about a few all different weights and whatever. So let's start with you.
I've got dozens that I could mention.
Yeah.
But I just want to bring out some of my favorites, some of the ones that I really, really like. I'm going to put forward first the combination that is, it seems to be kind of main battle tanky. It seems to be like the base level tank type thing, which is the Rommel Pattern deal. I think that basically it's the same company makes it, the same chassis, everything. They just change the weapon loadout and armor, I think.
That's right.
Stats.
Yeah.
So the Pattern is the lighter armed one. You've got an LRM5, a small laser, and a flamer, and the main gun is an AC-10. And then I'm pretty sure the Pattern, the Rommel has an LRM5 or a backup laser and an AC-20, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
The AC-20 takes up most of the room, and you've got, I think, 1 backup laser. I haven't got my sheet for the Rommel, because I was using the Pattern more. There's a bit more versatility in the Pattern than there is in a Rommel.
Yeah.
But it's 65 tons, it's a 4.6, it's got good solid armor, 232 points of armor.
Lovely. Across
the whole thing, so 40, 50 points in each location, and good solid variation in the ranges for its weapons, and good solid damage from each of them. And if you have a combo of that, so you have like a lance of vehicles and you've got, say, 3 Patterns and a Rommel or something like that, you've got, it's gold. And these guys are ubiquitous battle tanks. They're everywhere. Everybody's got them. You can put it in any color scheme you want. anytime you want, fine. Does not matter.
No.
It's great. They're brilliant.
I think they market them to work together in a lance, don't they?
I think so, yeah. It was kind of a synergistic, it's like a combo thing. One of my absolute favourites is the Shrek, which is just a PPC carrier. It's only a 3-5 movement, but when I use it, I don't really move it around much. You get it into a position and then you leave it there and you shoot things.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's designed to do. It is an 80-ton tank with actually like half the armor that a Pattern has. Right? It's only got 112 standard armor.
Yeah, it's pretty
instead of the
thin
232
by comparison, but yeah.
It is very lightly armored, but it has 3 PPCs. And they go out to 18, as all PPCs do. Yeah. And the gold thing is, it's only 935 battle value, and you can fire all 3 of those PPCs every single round, every time, no matter what. That is how vehicles work. They have to have all of the stuff involved in making it capable of firing all those weapons in one round. It's really good.
Yeah, and turret mounted.
Turret mounted, yeah. Turret mounted. And the Shrek is just a really cool vehicle. It's good. You sit that up on a hill and have like LRM carriers or something behind the hill, and it's just pinging away and spotting for people, and up to 18 range and 30 points of damage going down range every turn. It's gold.
Yeah, no ammo explosions.
No ammo to blow up, no overheating, no nothing. It's got thin armor, and that's the only downside to it, is that really thin armor. But if you're using the rules for digging vehicles in, then you can give it cover and all that sort of stuff. You can alleviate that a little bit.
That's all right. We'll just strap some locusts onto it or something. And if you don't want to move it, just get them to lie in front of it and.
You have it as like a fake locust standing on top of it. You bury it down in the ground and have a fake locust standing on top of it. They're all shooting at the locust while the PPCs are coming out.
It's got one of those animated funny faces. It's so cute, I can't shoot it.
Off topic. Oh dear.
What else? There's so many of these for you.
So I'm trying to go as quickly as I can here because there's a lot. I've got another couple that I really, really like, but on the track of 3 of a weapon, which is kind of cool because having 3 of the same weapon system means you roll all those dice at once and you have that ability to get the scores better. You've got that redundancy, I think you'd probably call it, that you can roll that. And
you don't have to worry about working out different target numbers for different weapons.
That's it.
It just speeds everything up.
You've got 3 dice, you work out 1 target number and you go...
Yeah, that's it.
Because you really do want to fire all 3 of them at once. At one thing, because if you can get it to fall over, it's gold. And that's an instant, even if one of them misses, that's an instant PSR.
It's still, for a mech, it's,
And 30 points, even 20 points of damage for any mech is not good. But in that vein of 3 of the same weapon, you have the Alicorn Mark 6 heavy tank.
Yeah.
And this boy is bad. He's not a nice person. You don't want to mess with him. Again, slightly less armor than a Pattern. Which I'm putting the Pattern out as a golden tank. This is a cool little tank. Okay? It's got really solid armor. It's got really solid weaponry. It isn't going to win you the game, probably. But as far as your vehicles go, it's probably going to keep chugging longer than some of them will. So the Alicorn is a 3.5, 95-ton vehicle.
Yeah.
And the space and weight that it misses out on in armor, it puts into 3 Gauss rifles.
Yeah.
Just 3 Gauss rifles on a turret. That's 45 points of damage going downrange, and it's got 40 rounds.
Yeah.
I think that's like 4 tons of ammo or something. 3 tons of ammo.
It's 8. Yeah, it's 5 because it's
5 tons of ammo.
Yeah.
So that is, I mean,
so what's that? 13 some change.
Yeah.
And a lucky shot at the end.
And 1 shot at the end.
Shot.
But 13 rounds is long for any game.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're firing every round for 13 rounds and you still haven't won or lost, then you want to re-examine your scenario, I think. really. But that's just me. But that is good. That is really, 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 really good.
That's that tank where I was telling you about the crew with the beer. Remember that
yes,
one? That's them.
That's them.
Pharaoh's beer. That's what it was called, because it came in the pyramid shape.
They were putting it on the tracks to measure
it's the same as the gauge. So yes, the crew would check their tracks thoroughly and regularly to make sure they worked.
Dead set, I would be. Dear.
But that is, it's a lovely looking tank as well. Actually, it's very sleek, and it's really, really nice. How much BG was it again?
1,850.
Yeah, okay, but still.
So it's like I think it's even more expensive than an Awesome. But 3 Gauss rifles, 22 range, 15 damage on a turret. The same target every time. Yeah. If you put a decent, even average skill in there, you've got 3 attempts to hit that one target. Yeah. And that, if all 3 hit, which is a possibility, that's 45 points of damage. Yeah. 45 points of damage in 3 15-point groups. And being tracked, can use the woods for protection as well. Yeah, so you're allowed to actually move it into light woods and use it as cover. So you could put it up on a hill in a light woods, give it a good solid line of sight on pretty much everything, and just let it ping people from miles away.
Yeah, that's cool.
They're brilliant. I love them. Okay, so again, on the theme of having multiples of a single weapon system, I'm going to go with one that's actually named, I only just found this out today, to tell you the truth. It's actually named after an actual existing tank. It's the Ontops heavy tank. And it's named after the Ontops, which is the M50 anti-tank vehicle. I'm pretty sure I got that right, the M50.
Is that the one that had just like bazookas or something?
It looks like a Bobcat, like a skid steer loader with 6 big tubes on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think they're like a high level cannon or something. I don't know if they're bazookas or if they're rockets or if they're like 50mm tank anti-tank guns or what they are, but I think there's only 2 people crewing it. Yeah. And it's a really little tank, and it's just this little, looks like a skid steer loader with guns strapped to the front of it. Yeah. It's insane.
I think what they were saying that it wasn't as successful as it could have been is because they had to manually load the guns. They're on the outside, so once you're out of ammo for the, if you try to step out to reload, there's a risk you're going to get shot. Yeah, but I mean that's so deadly. If you see one of those come around the corner and you're in a tank,
bloody oath.
Just boom.
Well, they named this guy well because this guy is just, it's insane the amount of firepower it's got. So there's 2 LRM5s as like a support type thing. It's a 95-ton tracked vehicle with a 3.5, and again, it's got very little armor for what you think it's supposed to be doing. 2 LRM5s with a couple of tons of ammo. No, I think it's 1 ton ammo.
24 shots?
Yeah, 24 shots. And 8 medium lasers.
Oh, there you go.
In a turret.
There you go.
2 LRM5s and 8 medium lasers in a turret. And the cool thing is that I remembered when I was looking these up is that because you have to have the heat sinks and the power amplifiers to fire energy weapons from an ICE vehicle, and it has to be there, otherwise you can't build it. You have to put it in. There's 25 tons dedicated just to heat sinks and power amplifiers in order to get this thing to fire. That's more than a locust worth of heat sinks. It's insane. But I mean, 5 points per medium laser, that's 40 points of damage. Yeah. Out to 9 range. He's a guard.
Yeah, I'd say so. What's his speed?
3.5.
3.5. Okay, yeah, he's definitely.
He's a guard. I would be quite happy to have one of them sat next to my LRM carriers, or SRM carriers. I would be more than happy to have one of them within 9 of those, and just say, okay, well, you come around the corner and try and hit my indirect fire people. You're copping 8 medium lasers to the face.
And it can still assist as well with its. It's only LRM5s, but it's not nothing.
No, and there's another bit of lore in there about what did they call him? I can't remember now. But there was a guy that was the gunner for an Ontos, famous Ontos crew. He's a gunner, and apparently he was known for being able to get all 8 medium lasers to hit the same location on the mech.
Hello.
Which is just insane.
There is that skill in the game, isn't there?
Something like that.
When we were doing the unboxings for the the thing that's on the cards, is someone has some sort of skill.
It does like targeting or something like that.
Oh, that'd be.
That'd be really good, wouldn't it? Vehicle. There's a few different variants. I think there's one where they upgrade them to pulse lasers and drop a couple of them and stuff like that. But just the base level one is kind of cool, and it is not going to be wading out and going toe to toe with an Atlas. It's a guard, I reckon.
Yeah.
BV. So BV under 1,000.
Yep. It's only 938.
38.
There's no reason you can't make that 1 ton of LRM5 ammo, whatever the going electronica is. Make it a NARC equipped ton, make it a semi-guided ton, and have it join in with the indirect bombardment when you're guarding your LRM carriers.
Yeah.
And then bring the 8 medium lasers to bear when the light mechs and things eventually do come around the corner.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to give honourable mention to the carriers. So in the tech readout, the carriers, the LRM carrier and the SRM carrier are both listed in the same entry because they're basically the same thing. They just take the weapons and change them around. So they've got the same speed, the same armor, all of that. But the LRM carrier has 3 LRM-20s and 3 tons of ammo. And the SRM carrier has 10 SRM-6s and 3 tons of ammo. And you can fire the LRM carrier for 8 rounds at full thing.
Yeah.
Right? Full thing. You can fire every single LRM on there for 8 rounds, one after the other. And that's pretty good.
That's a lot, eh?
That's pretty good. A lot of our games, even when we have bigger scale games, you're probably looking at between, unless somebody dies to a gyro hit early on, you're looking at between 5 and say 12 rounds, right? So you've got a good solid amount of ammo in there. The SRM carrier is more like a hide and blast sort of thing, but you can only fire it, I think I worked out you can fire it like 3 times, and then 5 of them once again. But they're solid.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then the Periphery made the heavy LRM carrier as well. I just remember when you started talking about it, it's 4 LRM-20s on a turret. I'm like, yoy!
Yeah, and that's gold.
That's really nice.
That is just solid stuff. I would upgrade them to clan LRMs so they don't have a minimum range, but that's just me.
Imagine that.
The other one that is a good solid main battle tank that I like is the Manticore. Now, there's a ton of others. There's loads of others. They're everywhere. Look for track vehicles and you'll find some really, really cool ones. There's Goblins. There's the, it's not the main Gauche, it's another one. There's something else. There's a Burke. There's all sorts of things that are out there that are either wheeled or tracked or whatever. They're there, they're tanks, they're gold. They're really, really good. You just have to find them. But I like the Manticore, A, because the model looks really, really cool. Yeah. It's got the
LRM.
Yeah, it's got an LRM launcher on
LRMs and something else, PPCs or something like that.
Yeah, it's got I think the standard version has a PPC, an LRM-10, a medium laser, and possibly an SRM, but I can't remember now.
Doesn't it have a flamer or something?
And possibly a flamer or something like that as well. The one I've got here is the LBX version of it.
Okay.
Which has a LB10X, a Streak SR6, and a medium pulse laser.
Okay.
It's got cluster and slug ammo.
Gee, this is a 3060 technology level, it says, and that's under 1,000. How heavy is it? 60 tons.
60 tons. And they all have a 4.6 movement. It's got a fusion engine, which is how they managed to cram it in there.
Yeah.
But 960 below, that costs about the same as your wheeled vehicle that we were talking about before, the 2.9 million.
That Ishtar, whatever it was, which was,
Yeah. But the Manticore is a good solid thing, and it's an OG. It's one of the original BattleTech. So it's got a fair few versions, I think.
Yeah, I think it does.
So the original has a PPC, SRM6, LRM10, and a medium laser.
Nice.
And it's 993.
Nice.
So it's slightly under 1,000, but it's a little bit more than this version.
Who cares? That's
who cares? It's brilliant. There's a 3055 upgrade that gives you a large pulse laser instead of the PPC. Takes out the medium laser and the heat sinks that you need for that laser. Remember, you have to have those, so it's not an optional thing. If you take that laser out, you can take the heat sinks out. Save a lot of weight that way. Get a Streak 2 and Artemis fire control to the original SRM and LRM racks, and ups its armor.
Okay, more armor's good.
Then there's an LBX version, which is this one, and then there's a C3 Master, a C3 Slave,
Wow.
and an early clan. There's a rack version and a heavy PPC version.
Oh, a rack version.
And then there's a custom variant, which is called the Ballista, which is equipped with heavy ferrofibrous armor, combat vehicle escape pod, an XL engine with a supercharger, C3 Slave, and then a turret-mounted hypervelocity autocannon 5, extended LRM10, and I think, the C3 Slave.
Wow. Okay.
It's,
God, that'll make Bathurst more interesting to watch. Bathurst is interesting to watch, but I'm just saying.
you take you get yourself a Manticore model, and you've got a good solid variation of timelines, of equipment, of just cool stuff that you can muck around with. And it's a good solid tank. Again, a good spotter / guard / long range sniper in the original version.
Yeah.
Because that PPC goes out to 18, so you've got a decent spotter until you hit 18 range, and then you can just start pinging them with the PPC.
Yeah, it's nice to know that if you buy that miniature, that you can use it in all these different timelines. It's not sort of restricted in any way.
Yeah.
You know?
That's I think we mentioned this in the live at one point, and I'm pretty sure I've said it before, but if you go with 3025 in Inner Sphere, you can push those models and use them in all sorts of timelines, in all sorts of things, because they were the ones that they actually made first.
Yeah.
Not in universe, but in the game. They actually made them first. So they want to try and keep them in there. So they made a lot of variants. When they put new weaponry and things, new equipment and stuff came out, they almost always made a variant of one of those mechs. Yeah. So it was really, really good. Hello, buddy.
Hello.
It's special, is it?
Back from his walk.
But that's me, and like I say,
cool.
Inner Sphere generally has like a butt ton of vehicles. So if you have an idea that any of those might be cool, then have a look for more, because they're out there.
Well, let's take a look at what the clans have been up to, shall we?
What have you got, buddy?
So they're actually quite interesting. I mean, look, we've had a look at the hover, we've had a look at the wield, and a lot of the physical designs of them, how they look is quite unique and different, which
cool.
I really like. Yeah, they're cool.
And odd.
And odd, yeah. But again, look, when you've got garrison forces, you're better off with vehicles from a clan perspective. So, you know, putting money and resources into vehicles was not necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, apart from the Hell's Horses, they all consider them to be basically second line units, don't they?
They do, yeah. So probably the first one I want to have a look at, and all of these, I've shown you all these other videos, you've watched them. So 3060. In this technical readout, this is when they first introduced art and information about the vehicles that the clans were using. All right. Now they have all sorts of different weight classes for their tracks as well, which is another thing that I like.
Yeah, okay? Very cool. Yeah.
So first one we're going to look at is the Zoya.
Zoya.
Zorya.
Zoya.
All right. So 35 tons. Introduced in 2842, it is the most common tank used by the clans.
Oh, okay.
Easy to get components, very reliable, and all the technology and everything used to power it and to drive it and everything is very easy to learn.
Nice and standard. And
nice
easy.
and standard, which is nice. So less waste, which is sort of where the clans think of and things like that.
Yeah.
All right, so just under 1.3 million C-bills, not too bad, but it's an internal combustion engine with standard armour. So they haven't really, even though it's sort of 1.3 or whatever, they haven't sort of spent big dollars on that sort of thing. It's just a standard engine and standard armour. Battle value is 562. All right,
That's pretty good.
It's not bad.
For a 4.6 moving tank, that's
right.
pretty good.
Yep. So 4.6 on the turret, it has an LB5X and an LRM10 with Artemis fire control. Okay, so you can shoot in any direction. That's great. It can do indirect fire and support with that. And the LB5X has enough ammunition to do solid shells and your cluster. So you're covering your VTOLs and on your flak and that sort of thing. It's good. You know, for a light tank, it's quite versatile.
That's cool.
But it also has in the body a Guardian ECM.
Which is cool.
Which is very good. So if you want to hide and do that sort of thing,
yeah,
boom, you're covered.
That's a groovy little tank. I like that.
So the Zoya is actually named after a Slavic warrior goddess, apparently. So I need to go find out a bit more about it, but that's how it was named. But it is very, very common. I think it was there's another one that we're going to talk about that was very similar to this one, which I'll get to now. But I like it. Yeah, it looks kind of cool. It's got like a trailer for all the weapons on it and things like that. But it's the rules aren't any different for a tracked vehicle just because of the way it's designed. It's just the art. But it has decent range. You know, it does 56 armor factor, so it's not great.
Yeah.
But 15 to the front, so you could take a clan PPC and survive that to the front, and then you can leg it. You can get out of there. That's quite nice. Okay. I actually kind of like this tank. It looks pretty cool, and yeah, being tracked, having that flexibility to use cover, get through woods and things like that is quite nice. It's not necessarily needs to move fast. It just needs to get where it needs to get.
So that's how you learn something new every day. Right. So Zoya is the Slavic goddess that represents light and dawn.
Right.
Sister of the sun, the moon, and Zvezda, the morning star.
Okay.
Boom.
Right. Have a tank in your honour.
Yes.
I'd like a tank in my honour. That'd be cool.
Call it the Atom.
We'll call it the Atom.
There's 7 Act 20s. So
continuing the theme of gods and whatever else. This one we all know, the Aries. We know who Aries is. He's pretty famous. 40-ton tank, and I just love the look of this tank. It's just so weird.
Really cool.
I love it. It's like modern building. You probably wouldn't design it that way, but it's from an aesthetic point of view, looking at it, I just think it's.
There's a Bobcat, a skid steer loader that has a very similar track layout to that, but the other way around. So the track comes up at a point at the rear instead of the front.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. You look at it and you go, it's probably not the best way to do it. But from an art perspective or whatever,
it's a groovy looking tank. I love it.
Simpson, when she said about potatoes, I just think they're neat. So that's what I thought when I saw this one. But he's 40 tons, introduced in 38-42 along with the Zoya. They were sort of worked together a little bit. This one is a fire support as well. There's a lot of fire support stuff. This one comes in at about 2.1 million C-bills, but it does have a fusion engine. Moves at a top speed of about 86 k's, which is your 5.8 sort of speeds. Ferrofibrous armour, we're looking at 86 in total, so 4.5 tons.
Which is not bad coverage.
Yeah, so your front's 19, so it can take a bit of damage there, but with the weapons loadout that we're going to go into, it doesn't really have to worry about getting in close to anything. Yeah. It's just so good.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now going, he's standing off a bit.
3 crew, BV2 is 1151. So that's quite reasonable.
It's a bit of a hit, but it's not too bad.
It's all right. Yeah. It's all right. So on the turret, it has an ER large laser. And being a fusion engine, it's got most of its heat sink, so it only had to spend a couple of tons to get it up there. But it also has an LRM-15 and an LRM-10 on the front, and they both have the fire control boost. Okay, 1 ton each of ammo. So you've got 12 shots and 8 shots. 8 shots and 12 shots.
Yeah. So 8 will be for the 15 and.
That's okay. You've got a long range backup energy weapon that's going to see you through.
That'll keep going for ages. Yeah.
But that's huge range. That's really, really good.
Yeah, some solid range on those ER large lasers,
Yeah.
and then you can bring the LRMs in after that. That's a pretty good tank.
So you would like this one because it's actually quite a favourite with Clan Wolf.
Ah,
Alright.
I wondered why I liked it.
Yeah, and when they sort of had to move their frontline forces out of like a defensive garrison position, they needed to sort of get more of these tanks going in. So the Zoyas and your Aries, they started bringing those in.
Yep.
And because they needed combat experienced people to go in there, those who were sort of washed out or whatever, who had tried before, they basically got them back in and gave them another shot. So they said, right, you may have been a mech warrior, but we're going to give you a chance to be tank crew. And of course, they're going to take that up because why wouldn't you?
Stuff. I'm in. Let's do this.
But it's good. It gives you the chance to represent your clan as a warrior as you want it to be, and there it is. Hugely popular, very, very common. Looks great. It's got great range.
Good solid weapons.
I like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really,
I
really
like
cool.
it.
So yeah,
that's pretty fast too
it is
for a big tank.
For 5.8. Look, 5.8's okay, but with those sort of weapons at that range, if you've got a good gunnery, you could threaten mechs with that.
Oh yeah,
no problem.
Yeah,
no problem.
Easy.
So that's good. And there's some others, but there's when the clans are given 100 tons to spend on a tank, they do it well.
Let me bing this one because this is.
You want to bing it? Bing it.
Bing! Is that not cool?
This one, the Mars Assault Vehicle.
Also a god of war.
Yes, that's right. There's the biggest planet, so he's got the biggest tank. All right, 100 tons. All right.
Dear oh dear.
So 2871 as a fire support. That's when it was introduced. All right. It has a fusion engine, but it's very, very slow. It's like 2.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
But that's okay because you'll see why. It's fine.
It's not going anywhere in a hurry, but it doesn't need to.
It has a generous amount of ferrofibrous armor. You're looking at 11.5 tons, which is about 220 points. Okay, so the front has 50, and the turret has 47.
I am going to point out that a 65-ton Pattern has more armor points than that thing.
Okay.
As I've got 232 on here, you've got 220 on there, right?
220, yeah.
So, Rommel Pattern.
Yeah. winner. But does it have? We'll get to those. So the BV is 2,076 with 7 crew. All right,
Wow,
so that's a lot of crew,
That's insane.
and it is quite expensive. But
Well, I mean,
by comparison,
BV's the only one I'm interested in, but I'm looking at that C build cost and I'm going,
well, 8.66 million. All right.
good lord.
I think Clan Timberwolf Prime was something like 25 or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
So we're talking a bit of a money difference there for sure.
I mean, compared to that, it's actually pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what does it have? What doesn't it have is probably the best question.
Yeah, what didn't they fit on there?
All right. So on the turret, it has an ER large laser, 2 machine guns, and a Gauss rifle. That's just on the turret.
That's on the turret.
Okay. It also has on the front an LB-10X with enough ammo to do both
Cluster
shots.
and slug,
So it can help with things like that.
Nice.
It has an SRM streak on each side, so they're side-mounted weapons.
Yep.
A Guardian ECM for hiding, which is handy because if you're going to be in the city, which is where you want to put it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah. But probably the most interesting thing for me that I saw, it also has 3 LRM-15s with Artemis fire control.
Yeah.
Now, as a tank, as you've said multiple times, everything can be fired.
Yeah.
There's no heat.
Everything gets fired.
So that's almost 100 points of damage if everything hits at max. You've got long range, you've got short range, you've got anti-infantry, you've got indirect fire support. That is
something you do not want to get close to because the closer you get, the more damage it is giving
That's
you.
right.
And it's just pouring it on.
Absolutely just lovely and horrible and
Lord.
scary and all this. It's just beautiful. But the Clan Hell's horses, they had a look at that and they wanted to speed it up a bit. So they put in it's just got a standard fusion engine. They put in an XL.
Oh, okay.
So it goes up to like a 3.5.
Something.
It goes a bit faster. I think it loses. So they have also removed the machine guns and the ammunition and have downgraded the armor by only half a ton.
Okay.
But they kept everything else, and they can go a bit faster.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
Don't know what the BV for that one is, but it doesn't matter. It's probably very similar.
You were right. The Timberwolf is 24 million.
There you go.
24.2 million. So you can get 3 of those guys almost for one Timberwolf. So when you think about it that way, it's pretty cheap.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be actually quite good to play games with C-bills.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, because it does tend to balance things a little bit too. As long as you're playing the same tech level, you know, they don't have like Inner Sphere versus Clan. I suppose you could because the stuff's cheaper, but I don't know. There are some people, they don't use BV, they use C-bills to build their forces because they find that the balance is a little bit better. But
and that, so that XL version, the Clans Hell's Horses XL version, is 2,520 BV2.
Okay. So it's a lot more.
Yeah, it's 500 points more. Almost. There's a Hag version.
Oh, what? Okay, I didn't see that.
So this is, it's a Jihad era variant.
Okay.
Retains the XL engine, XL variant's engine, but is still as slow as the original.
Oh.
But it's made up for by it having more armor.
Ooh.
2 Streak 6s are dropped completely in order to make room for the new Class 30 Hyper Assault Gauss rifle and its 12 rounds of ammunition. And the original model's Gauss rifle and ER are retained.
Okay.
Machine guns replaced with a pair of AP Gauss rifles with 40 rounds of ammunition.
Nice.
Good lord.
Yeah.
And there's an ATM version.
Whoa, now you're talking.
That takes the LRM launchers out and replaces it with 3 ATM 9s. And the ER becomes a heavy large laser.
Oh. How much is that BV, please?
1,948, so that actually drops BV.
Wow.
Okay. And that's pretty good. Oh, it downgrades the streaks to 4s. So there you go. That's probably
that's awful.
Another thing.
Oh, no, that's awful. Okay.
Can't handle that. No, look at that. No.
But it's such a... it's such an interesting vehicle.
I like it. I think that's cool.
It's streamlined and everything. It's like a little brick
Box.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's hanging in the air exactly the same way bricks don't.
But those seven crew would be quite comfortable in there, I'd imagine, with all those
weapons. You'd have
and
bunk beds and all sorts of stuff in there. You'd be right. Man. But those 3 LRM-15s at the back there pointing forwards, that's cool, because you can imagine those opening up and the missiles going
just flying out,
out over the top of the skyscraper and coming down on the intersection with the little dudes there and pointing someone out and just and then someone says, "Oh, go get that thing that's shooting us," and he comes around the corner and sees that thing.
Yeah.
Just before he gets wiped out.
So much.
That's
many
solid.
Weapons. That's interesting. But there's like you said, there's so many vehicles out there that are tracking.
There are a lot of vehicles out there.
We can have a look at some others later, but I don't know.
I mean, one good way to do it is to get something like Megamech Lab, and just go into the vehicle thing. So open it up, say, okay, I want to load a thing, and pick vehicle, and just go through the list and have a look and see if any of them strike your fancy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to point out to people that the Pattern has more armor than a 100-ton clan mech, and just go. I mean, he will get wiped out if he goes up against that thing because he's got an autocannon.
Output.
Yeah.
Versus,
He's got one autocannon and a couple of little lasers and an LRM, and that's it. But he's got more armor on him than that guy.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But yeah.
So many weapons.
So many weapons. But there's so many different variants of tracked vehicles. I mean, vehicles generally, but tracked vehicles specifically, because battle tanks have been around for donkey's years.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, since before us, and we're talking about 3025 and junk, so you know.
That's it.
Quality.
So there we go. So that's tracked vehicles. We hope that you found that interesting and useful, and we've given you some tips on your next game and what to take. And
as always, if you have a favourite, chuck it down in the comments, because I'm always interested to know, because I found some good ones that way.
That's right. If you used any of these ones, let us know how your game went, especially if it was a Mars. Let's hear some absolute horror stories.
Against the number of patterns you could get for that BV. I wonder what you'd do. That would be interesting to see. Dear.
So there we go. All right. So that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.
Yep.
Consider subscribing and sharing it around. We'd like to have sort of build the community and get more people involved. That'd be great. But I think that's it. Anything else you want to finish on?
No, it's good. Just a g'day guys and a goodbye guys, and that'll pretty much do it.
And now we're going to go dream of tanks.
Vehicles.
Yes.
Get into it, people.
That's it. All right. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye guys.